Cable Bahamas has always been considered the innovator.
People can have confidence in Cable Bahamas as a mobile operator because of our past history. We've proven to the Bahamian community that we are in fact able to manage additional services as a telecommunications company.
Customers expect the best from Cable Bahamas.
The technology that we bring is revolutionary technology because we know that the Bahamian public, they deserve it, and Cable Bahamas is here to bring it to them.
We are ready. Turn us on.
The wife of noted Australian doctor Philip Vasyli charged with his murder. Soca artist Michelle Montano is Junkanoo Carnival's headline act. Scores of F&M supporters protest over the Alfred Gray controversy. Plus, an American man arrested after a $400,000 drug bust. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. Top news tonight, the wife of noted Australian doctor Philip Vasyli was charged with his murder 5 days after he was found dead at their Old Fort Bay home. Simone Davis has that story. 54-year-old Donna Vasyli was charged with the murder of her husband, 59-year-old Australian podiatrist Dr. Philip Vasyli, who was found stabbed to death in their upscale Old Fort Bay home. Now, as she stood before Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt, Vasyli was not required to enter a plea. According to police, a worker discovered Dr. Vasyli's body on the dining room floor around 8 a.m. Tuesday. Police believed he was killed the night before, as it appeared he was dead for about 7 to 8 hours. Professionals were called into the gated home to access the data on the security camera system. However, it was unclear if there were cameras in the room where he was killed. During their investigation, police took Dr. Vasyli's daughter and wife into custody for questioning in connection with his death. As the magistrate read Vasyli's murder charge to her this morning, the accused showed no emotion, even as relatives sat in court holding hands and fighting back tears. Muriel DeSeal and Queen's Counsel Elliot Lockhart represented Vasyli. She was denied bail but given the right to appeal for bail to the Supreme Court. As police officers escorted her from the courtroom, the magistrate allowed Vasyli's relatives to speak with her before she was remanded to Her Majesty's prison. Vasyli is set to return to court on May 20th for the presentation of the voluntary bill of indictment. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis. After assuring Bahamians that Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival is a Bahamian thing, government has reportedly signed off on Trinidad soca artist Michelle Montano as the headline act. This move isn't sitting well with Bahamian founder Isaiah Taylor, who called it an insult to the Grammy Award-winning group and all Bahamian musicians. However, another band member says officials have indicated they may be willing to negotiate with Bahamian. Vonnie Toot takes a look at the confusion and controversy surrounding the Carnival headliner.
First, it was Usher.
Baby, let me love you down. There's so many ways.
Then it was Janet Jackson. There were also talks of Rihanna. And even rumors of Beyonce. Then, after seeking to convince Bahamians that Junkanoo Carnival would be a Bahamian thing, government reportedly signed off on Trinidadian soca artist Michelle Montano as the headliner.
And nothing can stop me now. It's whole year. I live for the carnival, and I know.
Some local artists call it a slap in the face. So what happened to recent assertions by Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe that the event is about Bahamian artists?
The major act to me has never been a worry of mine because I don't believe the Bahamas needs to have a major player, but I do understand that the Commission has always sought to have one. I always thought that if I need someone to draw people to my country, then I'm having a difficulty.
Or this comment by Culture Minister Dr. Danny Johnson suggesting there is no need for a foreign headliner.
No, the Bahamian people are the headliners. It's our thing. You know, we're investing in Bahamian art and culture, and it's going to yield a fantastic return.
The decision to go with a Trinidadian headliner isn't sitting well with Bahaman founder Isaiah Taylor.
I was just upset with Paul for getting my black behind up out of bed that time of the morning to tell me what he told me. But we are cool. You know, we're not going to look as if we complaining, because that's not what we all about. We're not complaining. To me, it was just wrong the way it was handled with the Bahamian people. But we're not going to complain. We're going to come out and we can do what we do.
Bahaman has won a Grammy Award, 2 Billboard Awards, and 2 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Taylor says the commission's decision isn't just an insult to Bahaman, but all local musicians.
Make sure to take a good photo of it. When you get in one of these, you have arrived.
Drops mic. Taylor said he has since received a call suggesting that the commission wants Bahaman to be the main act. He said he named a price which was swiftly rejected. We understand the commission wanted to pay Bahaman less than $100,000 to headline, despite setting aside $1 million for the big name act. However, singer Dyson Knight says another offer may be coming their way.
I've been contacted by, this morning actually, and there are some people that are going to be contacting Isaiah in short order about renegotiating as being the headliner show. But if Marshall headlines the show, so be it too. Marshall has a great show.
Popular Bahamian recording artist D-Mac says while he looks up to Machel Montana, there is no question who the headliner should be, and he doesn't see the need for all the confusion.
You can bring Marshall, I have no problem with that, but if you're talking headlining, you gotta put our local boys. Not only that, I looked at for myself personally in my career, not even being contacted, is like these guys are totally disconnected from what is relevant inside this country in terms of entertainment and what we have and the talent that we have to offer. So it's really disturbing right now to hear that they're going to bring in somebody else to do a headlining thing, and we have our Grammy Award winning band here. So I support Muhammad. I'm here to show my support.
Bahaman is the opening act or headline act, band members of the Grammy Award-winning group say they will be a tough act to follow. Reporting from Club Luna for NB12, I'm Bonnie 2.
Agriculture Minister V. Alfred Gray perverted the rule of law when he called a magistrate to inform him of his options after he convicted and sentenced a Maguana man. This according to opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis, who protested outside Gray's office today, once again calling for Gray's resignation. Minnis was joined by about 25 F&M supporters. Gray is currently under a police investigation over allegations he interfered in the judicial process.
There is only one result that justice, accountability, and good governance demand. Yes. Gray must go. Gray must go now. Nothing less will be sufficient. Nothing less will do. Gray must go.
Flanked by several of his supporters, Minnis declared the rule of law has been undermined, subverted, and perverted by a cabinet minister who remains in office. Prime Minister Perry Christie announced in Parliament last week Gray invited him to relieve him of his ministerial responsibilities for local government pending the outcome of an investigation into allegations he interfered in a court case. However, the F&M insists that's not enough, as Gray still sits as Minister for Agriculture and Marine Resources. Minnis said Christie has settled on a fitful attempt at an atrocious compromise, and his failure to demand or ensure full accountability stands as an indictment of his personal dereliction of duty and lack of commitment to principle. And taking note of a comment Christie recently made to journalism students that his government's performance will not be matched, Minnis said history will remember Christie as the worst prime minister ever.
That is the first time I'm hearing the Prime Minister speak the truth. Yes. The first time. The first time. He will go down in history as the worst prime minister and the worst government. And his legacy will go in the archives. So yes, he is unmatched, and nobody should strive to match him.
The Alfred Gray controversy stems from an admittance by Gray that he called Maguana Administrator Zephaniah Newbold to inform him he could grant bail for 19-year-old Jaquan Charlton, who was sentenced to 3 months in prison after he was convicted of disorderly behavior, obscene language, assault, and resisting arrest. Although an investigation into the matter is pending, Minnis said as far as he's concerned, Gray has already admitted to breaching the independence of the judiciary.
No politician has the right to direct or to give advice or to interfere with a magistrate in the active discharge of his or her judicial functions. No cabinet minister has the right to call a magistrate to give any kind of advice or instructions as to how the magistrate should exercise his or her power as a member of the judiciary.
Scotiabank officials confirmed today the bank will undergo a restructuring exercise. In total, 8 of its branches will be affected. Kyle Joaquin reports.
Officials at Scotiabank have announced that the company will be restructuring its branch network over the next 6 months. In a statement, Scotiabank Bahamas Managing Director Sean Albert said, "We conducted a thorough review of our operations and looked for ways to continue serving our customers while growing our business." The restructuring follows Scotiabank's global review of its operating model and international distribution network. During this restructuring exercise, 8 branches will be affected, 4 of which are to be consolidated, namely Caves Village into Cable Beach, Wolf Road and East Street into Thompson Boulevard, Marlborough into Rawson Square, and Cooperstown into Marsh Harbor Abaco. 2 branches in the Family Islands will also be closed, Scotiabank's Stella Maris and North Luther locations. According to the statement, customers of these branches will receive letters outlining the changes to their accounts and what branches their accounts will be transferred to. Now, there is still no clear indication how many employees, if any, would be let go as a result of this restructuring exercise. However, Bahamas Financial Services Union President Teresa Mortimer says things could have went better for Scotiabank employees had they been unionized. Mortimer says she's tried numerous times to get employees at both Scotia and Royal Bank to become a part of the union, but to no avail. And while she feels sorry for those who may lose their jobs, the employees, she said, could have had someone at the negotiating table fighting on their behalf.
When CIBC redundancy was done on the 31st of October, I knew about it from November 2013. November 2013, CIBC heads called me to a special meeting all the way in Barbados. I knew something was going on, I didn't know what it was, but when I got to Barbados and I meet my counterparts and we were able to sit on the table, we were able to put some demands in place. And some of those demands was, before you let anybody go, let's give preference to those persons who said, listen, I want to go. And believe you me, we had some young folks who came into banking because they needed a job, and now they have reached that point in their life where they say, I have enough, I want to go and be a lawyer now.
According to Mortimer, Scotiabank employees in every other Caribbean country are unionized. Sadly, she says Bahamians have failed to realize the importance and value of such an organization.
It's sad. I hate to see it happen because Bahamians, and you know something, like I said, I spoke to one of the counterparts this morning in the Caribbean. I'm like, what's happening? He said, oh no, we still talking. Okay, they still talking in the Caribbean. Here in the Bahamas, the branches are closing. They're unionized. You see the difference?
That statement from Scotiabank ended. Scotiabank is focused on supporting employees through this transition and staying true to our principles of treating employees fairly, equitably, and with respect. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
When NB12 returns, an American man is in police custody after $400,000 worth of drugs were found in Bimini. Stay with us.